All right, so now we come to cash flows and NPV. NPV is net present value. Net present value. Okay, so if an initial investment will bring in payments at future times, the payments are called cash flows. So we have an investment bringing in some returns, some payment at a future time. Then we have what we call cash flow. Now, we can calculate what we call the net present value of those cash flows, which is defined by this formula. So we want to know if that investment is profitable or not profitable. Okay, so we have this formula for net present value. The sum of all present values of all cash flows minus the initial investment. Okay, so this sum of the present value, we take the present value. Don't forget the word present value. We did in the previous lesson videos. When we are talking about present value, the power, the exponent will be negative. When we are calculating the present value, the exponent will be negative. So if we have the future value to be like this, now the present value of this, will be this. Okay, so it will carry a negative power. Okay, so we calculate the present value of all the cash flow and then we subtract it from the initial investment. So if that net present value is greater than 0, then the investment is profitable. But if it is less than 0, it is not profitable. Okay, so in order to calculate this, we need to draw our timeline that contains all the given information. We bring all the cash flows to year 0. This is very important. To year 0 by determining P for each cash flow. And then we use that formula, NPV equals to the sum of all the cash flow at the year 0 minus the initial investment. Okay, we use that formula. Okay, so let's take this example. Here we have, suppose that you can invest $20,000 in a business that guarantees you cash flows at the end of years 2, 3, and 5 of these $10,000, $8,000, and $6,000 respectively. Assume an interest rate of 7% compounded annually. Okay, take note of that word also, compounded. Don't forget, we need to always take note of that. So here our M is 1 because it is compounded annually. And find the net present value of the cash flows. So we draw our timeline for this. We have at 0, okay. We have at 0, then we have an investment at 2. We have another one at 3. And then we have another one at 5. Okay, that is the last one. Okay, here, initially, we are investing $20,000 there. And then at 2, this is 1. At 2, we have 10,000 there. At 3, we have 8,000. At 5, we have 6,000. This is 4. Okay, so we need to calculate this, but each of these comes to 0. Each of them comes to 0. All right, so in order to find our net present value, we use that formula. Net present value is now all these at the present value. So that means we are going to have 10,000 into what is our R? R is what now? 7%. Our R is 7%. Okay, that will give us 7 over 100, which is 0.07. Okay, so this is 1.07 raised to power 1, 2, negative 2. Okay, plus 8,000 into 1.07 raised to power negative 3. Then plus 6,000, 1.07 raised to power 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5. Now, these are the sums of the cash flows, then minus our initial values, our initial investment. Okay, so here now, we find this by pressing your calculator, and then you should be getting something like this. Okay, in dollar, this negative is very important. Whenever we are dealing with cash flow, either we are using our financial calculator or we are using the normal formula, the negative there, the sign is very important to us. We want to know if this is positive or negative. So don't just write the answer without the sign, except if it is positive, then you can do away with the sign. But if it is negative, please ensure that you put it, because that will show us that it's not profitable. So from here now, we see that this is not profitable. This is not profitable. This is not profitable. Please take note of that.